Okay.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before I start tonight's meeting, I have a little something I'd like to say and share with everybody. Lee Mingini, a Vietnam vet that served his country, passed away today. I would like to acknowledge the 11 years he served on the Norway City Council and all the committees he served on. He was on the Zoning Board of Appeals, Norway Senior Center, Parks and Recs, Planning Commission, and Museum, and I'm sure there's many more that I probably missed. There are a lot of hours he put into serving our community. He was a great council member who always gave 100% representing our community. It was a pleasure to serve with him. We send our sympathy to his family. I would like to take a moment of silence for Lee Mingini. Rest in peace, Lee Mingini. Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew,
Here.
Mr. Kramer,
Here.
Mr. Marraro,
Here.
Mr. Oja,
Here.
Mr. Pop.
Here.
Move on to the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have?
I make a motion we approve the agenda. For.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mr. Oja,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew.
Yes. Move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of December 21st, 2020.
I make a motion we approve the minutes from December 21st, 2020. For.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mr. Oja,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Move on to the approval of the manifest 2020-01. Scott, did you have any questions?
I just have one for Mr. Anderson. Since COVID, we stopped using the water coolers, right?
Yes.
Okay, why is the electric department still doing it? Because I see they have about two jugs for the hydro.
That's our only source of water, though. We didn't stop at the hydro.
I thought we were gonna get water, bottled water. Couple of cases of bottled water for them. Just so that way people aren't dipping underneath the same thing.
Already went through that though, Scott. Remember?
Did we? I thought we agreed on bottled water instead of the tap water on the thing. Okay, I'm mistaken. That's all I got for tonight.
Brett?
I have nothing.
Jeff?
Nothing, Madam Mayor.
Jeremy?
Nothing.
I have nothing either. We have a motion to approve manifest 2021-01.
I motion that we, go ahead, Jeremy.
I'll make a motion. We approve manifest 2021-01 in the amount of $232,370.88.
Support.
Mr. Oja,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro.
Yes.
Yeah, questions from the previous meeting, Mr. Anderson?
We had one outstanding question. That was a question from for Border States that's a termination kit for the underground primary riser that was on the Viking Lane project.
Oh yeah, I had that question and I did see that in your memo. Thank you. Anyone wishing to address the council on an agenda item will be unmuted and given an opportunity to make their comments. For participants on Zoom, you can use the raise your hand feature and the host will initiate the unmute. For telephone participants, hit *9 to initiate a request to speak. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person.
Okay, there's nobody raising their hand.
Okay. We'll move on to appointments and presentations. Norway Area Senior Center, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, so far at the last meeting, we went through our boards and committees. There were 2 remaining open seats for representatives from the council. The first one was the Norway Area Senior Center, and that one they meet on the 3rd Monday at 10:30 a.m.
It's, what did you say? It's the 3rd Monday?
3rd Monday, 10:30 a.m.
I can try to do this one, but I usually babysit on Mondays, but if you want, if no, I'm sure nobody else can do that one at that time. Is it 10:30 you said?
10:30 a.m. Yep.
Is there anybody else that would like to do it or could do it?
No, I'm stretched too thin already with
No,
those.
I can't. Not at 10:30.
No way.
I'm gonna try to do it. Somebody has to represent
Do
it.
we got to make a motion or is that just go ahead?
I shall make a motion.
I make a motion that Mayor Brew be appointed to the Norway Area Senior Center as the council.
Representative.
Brett, did you support?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes,
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mr. Ocha.
yes,
Jake Mangini Museum.
This particular committee meets on the 3rd Thursday at 6:30 p.m. every month.
I can do that one.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, Mr. Kramer be appointed to the Jake Minigini Museum for the council representative.
Support.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mr. Ocha,
yes,
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Move on to communication. Approval extension of real and personal property tax winter deadline, Mr. Anderson.
Hey, this is a housekeeping item that every year charter requires that the taxes be paid by February 15th of each year. After that, a 3% penalty will be applied. And every year we have traditionally extended that to the end of the month. For this particular calendar year, February 28th is a Sunday, so that extends it to March 1st of 2021, where we'll collect taxes at the City Hall. And then at the end of business on March 1st, we'll send them to the county. And then after that, then you have to go to the county for tax.
Do I have a motion?
I motion that we extend the real and personal property tax winter deadline to March 1st, 2021.
Or
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mr. Ocha,
yes,
Mr. Pop,
yes.
Mrs. Brew.
Yes. We'll move on to Stevens Real Estate Listing Agreement.
Oh, then the next 2 items, then we have the listing agreement from Stevens Real Estate. And as part of that listing agreement, we also have our 2021 property city-owned property sale list that we work off of and that Ryan Gordon works off of. I'm allowing Ryan to come in now. He's available if you have any questions. But he had a recommendation that the properties on the Norway Spring, there are two properties that he recommended to be dropped to what, $4,900. That would be lots 32 and lots 26. And then we also recommended that the Oak Crest Drive properties be marketed at $25,000 each. So I'm requesting that we have two separate approvals, the property for sale list standing alone, and then also, again, Stevens Real Estate listing agreement.
What were the properties at Old Crest before?
29.5, I think, is what we had before.
Because I know we had talked about even coming down more on that. Did he not recommend that?
No, that was his recommendation, is just to go at 25.
My opinion, way too high. We're not gonna get anybody in for that price. We have nothing to bring them to Norway. No one's gonna pay that much money for the lots. I think all these lots that we have on here, the 34 lots that we have on here, are too expensive. We want people to come to Norway. We can't charge what we're charging. And you can see that the decline in Norway, just by looking at the school enrollment over the last 4 years, we've lost 100 kids in high school. We have nothing to bring them to Norway. These lots are too expensive.
Yeah,
I feel like the lot prices, especially on the Old Crest division, should be lower too.
I've been on the
Agreed.
council for 4 years now, and I have not seen a single lot sell that we've been trying to sell.
I agree. How many lots do we sell at 29.5 last year? None.
None.
0.
Yeah, you're not gonna sell any at 25 either. Yeah, I would recommend that we meet with Mr. Gordon and discuss our concerns with all these lot prices, and maybe we can come up with a whole new price list on to move some of his property, so we actually sell something for a change.
Oh, we can do that. We can forego the property listing for this evening and just move forward with having the Stevens Real Estate listing agreement approved. We can always slide in the lot sale pricing, say for the next meeting.
Sounds good. So Grant, do we have to vote to table this then? Table the first portion? Or should we shoot it? Can't hear you, buddy. You must be on mute.
It doesn't look like he's muted.
No,
Can you hear
I
me?
can't hear him.
Am I here now?
There
Yeah,
you go.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. Since it's on the agenda, I would ask that it be tabled and be addressed. One other thing, and I'm sure council would check this, but I'm sure it's probably an oversight with Mr. Gordon. And we've sat down before, and working with Mr. Gordon is a pleasure, and he has a lot of great insight and resources. One thing I did note with, and I don't disagree about the reduction in the parcels up at the property up Norway Spring. That's for council to determine prices. But if we keep it at 6% or $2,500, whichever is greater, with a $5,000 purchase price, by the time we do closing costs, transfer fees, I'd like to just have a breakdown of that. If we're going to do the listing agreement, that it coincides a bit with that property price to some degree. I'd hate to see the city getting close to break even or paying out, but if that's the council's privilege or determination, that's okay as well. I just wanted to
Right
point that
now,
out.
I feel that if we're gonna sell a lot for $3,000, we break even. But great. Where are we gonna get the money from? The tax revenue on whoever's gonna build there. We're not gonna get it on the $3,000 that we're gonna sell it. We're not gonna get rich off of that.
No, but I would cover our costs at least.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with a breakdown.
Right.
It certainly isn't my personal opinion. Frankly, there's people might say give the property away to get houses built. Not my opinion, just an observation, just a comment for the, on the fees.
Well, I know that was brought up before about really dropping out on Oakcrest and wherever else. And it was brought up in the office that, hey, maybe we should do something like this. And now all of a sudden I see this and this 4,000 or 3,000 is not a reduction.
Well, it
Very-
was off the recommendation from Ryan, so we'll meet with him over the next 2 weeks and we'll come back with something else.
Jeremy, do you have anything to say?
No, I got nothing to add. I agree that we should hold off and probably drop those properties more to get them sold.
Brett?
I would like to have Jim Wiseman involved in that meeting as well.
Okay.
Who's that?
Jim
Assessor.
Wiseman, city assessor.
I thought you said GM. Sorry, it came out GM Wiseman on my side. I was like, who the heck is GM Wiseman?
Yeah, Jim Wiseman.
Gotcha.
I have a motion to table it.
A motion we table the approval of the City of Norway Properties 2021.
Support.
Mr. Marraro,
Yes.
Mr. Oja,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Move on to the approval 2021 MEUW safety program proposal.
Go ahead,
Mayor-
previous,
Mayor Brew, we still got to do the listing agreement.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion to postpone the listing agreement? Thanks, Brett.
Yeah, I motion that the Stevens Real Estate listing agreement is tabled until we can Ryan get everything put together here.
Support.
Mr. Oja,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marraro.
Yes.
Move on to approval of 2021 MEUW safety program proposal.
okay, so at a previous meeting, we know the council had declined on the 3-year proposal that was put together by the MUW and put in front of council. That was early December. And then at a subsequent meeting, we talked about coming back with a new proposal. MUW had wanted to work on a different proposal. So what I'm presenting to council tonight is a 1-year agreement. It would have Mike Martin, who is available to answer any questions for council this evening, but basically to have him at the city to work 2 days a month, and that price would be at $14,250. And then we have a very specific, I talked with Mike, we would have a very specific and narrow action list that would need to be done by the end of the year, including the safety programs, some of the items that we talked about with our manual. And also we do need to move forward, and we have been moving forward on working on an emergency action plan that basically comes from the county's overall plan, but it's specific to the city. And we talked about, and we have been working on the city security plan. So, those are all components that would be put in place for this year. We are moving forward with some online training that we talked about, and MEUW has indicated that they will pick up the cost for that program for this year. Gives us an opportunity as well to work out, see the online training. So.
Well, I was
Didn't on the last one, sorry for interrupting you. Didn't you on the last one say that you would like to see this bid out or something, or see this?
Yeah, I made some phone calls, trying to find companies that would actually, provide personnel. And I was having all sorts of trouble finding. I was talking to different organizations, and to have it bid, I'm not sure if I couldn't locate companies that actually do this kind of thing with just an individual, like they're in this fashion. So
So it's not something we could have posted for?
not something we did post before. I tried to call around to our compadres, different communities and see what they were doing, different companies, see what they were doing. Either they're hiring their safety, safety is a completely separate discipline. I mean, there's a whole degrees into this stuff. And as a larger organization, you go you start hiring actual safety engineers or safety compliance officers. So, they go one way or the other. They try to do it limited online in-house, or they have their own in-house. That's why we've partnered and went with a number of different organizations or communities to try and put the program together.
What does Iron Mountain and Kingsford do
They do in-house.
in-house?
Yeah.
Madam, here's my issue, guys. Madam Mayor, Mr. Anderson. Once again, we have the price. Okay, that's great. $14,250. By the way, that's $593.75 a day when he's on site. We have no deliverables here. In the resolution, I see no deliverables. You're asking us to spend $14,250 again for one more year. And which is basically $11,250 more than we'd pay if we did this in-house online, because you reiterate in here that it's roughly $3,000 per year to do it in-house. What are we getting for the additional $11,250? Except it's less than 35 grand that they originally wanted to charge us.
As I told you, we're going to put in there.
No, as you told me, we're going to put in there.
Okay.
I'm not going to vote yes, Ray, to spend $14,250
It's
unless I can see what the hell we're going to get for $14,250.
Fine.
It's an open-ended resolution is all it is. So anyways, that's where I stand on it.
I just, there was something, because I read through the contract and I just wanted to make sure I'm reading it right, Ray. No matter what, we still have to give them a 60-day notice. So that would be $5,750, right?
That's typically what they look for, is that 60-day notice.
And then how much was the training that they said they'd pay for, the online?
Well, the basic training estimate that I have is about $4,000, $3,500. If we just did the basic classes that we need for the annual.
And they would pay for that.
Yeah, they're picking that up. They're picking that up.
Right. If I do quick math here, just so you guys know, I understand where you're coming from, Jeff, but just so you guys know, for 3 months, if we get our own program, it's gonna cost us about $4,000. We gotta pay MEUW $5,750 because we have to give them a 60-day notice. So we have to keep them on for the 60 days. So if you subtract that from the 14 something, what is it?
I don't have a problem with,
6,000.
I don't have a problem with doing this for one more year so we can finally get this in-house where it belongs. Okay. I want to make sure our deliverables are locked in stone and we're going to get everything we need to move on away from this down the line.
Right. And I'm not disagreeing with you, Jeff, but I just want you guys to know it's still gonna cost us close to 10,000 for only 3 months. I want everybody to know that when I read through it, it's gonna actually cost us around $9,750 for just the 3 months if we go online on our own and then we gotta pay them out their money. And that's for just, well, it ain't even 3 months, it's for 2 months. 60 days is 2 months. So we'd be paying for 2 months, we'd have to put out $9,750. Just so everybody's,
Did we not cancel that contract when we voted it down in December?
We gave them the notice in December, yeah.
So the clock's already ticking on that.
Yes. We're obviously going to have, we started working on a transition. We're not, when you cancel the project in December, we didn't then keep moving forward and thinking that to make the change and just continue on. I mean, we started some transition work, and Mike has been very eloquent in working with us on that transition. It was, I know, his superiors that also wanted to see if there was something, because we have talked about a lower percentage moving forward as well. We did that 3 years ago when we went with this 3-year agreement. So, you know, it is up to council. I can tell you that from an internal standpoint, that it's very challenging to try and put the program in place. But you know, Mike is he's been a champion here. He's worked extremely hard with us, you know, on the program. You know, if it comes to contract language, I'm sure that's something we could work out. I don't think that's an impediment. I think what we're looking for, at least it would be nice to have a nod that says that, you know what, if we get the contract language, then we're able to move forward this year with this program, and with a very clear understanding that you know, this is a 1 year, and that 60 days, it doesn't even need to be in it, because you're basically saying in December, it's, you know, we're going to have it, we're going to get the deliverables by December, and the only discussion that we should have in December is if for some reason the council, you know, we're going to have an election in November, you know, I mean, it should be talked about in December of how the organization, in fact, all summer long, we should be talking about what the transition, what we're going to look at in doing it ourselves, and whether we're in a position to do that, you know, so, which we should be, but.
How does anybody else feel on this? Brett?
Well, it is, I do agree, Jeff, you know, 14,500 is a good chunk of money. However, I think one thing that we're not taking into consideration, who's going to do it? If they're not going to do it, where are we going to get the manpower from internally to do this? And I think that's my biggest concern, is if we fall behind now, it's going to be really hard to catch up.
I'm with you, Brett. I have zero issues with us moving forward this 1 year. What I'm saying is, if I'm going to vote on this thing, I want to make sure the deliverables are clean, clear, and cut on what they're going to be, what we need as a city to move forward with our own safety program moving forward, correct? And also to, you know, we're done come December 31st if the council so chooses to not renew.
Yeah,
That's what I'm asking for.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we have to have a deadline and a demand at the end of what we want to see.
I agree with Brett and Jeff on that.
Okay. Go ahead, Jeremy. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's nothing. I agree with them. We need to have the deliverables in there.
So do we have a motion on this? To add what we talked about?
We got to shoot this down our table, I would guess, no? If that's the way, if we want something added to it.
Grant?
I'd ask you to table it until we get all the details into the contracts. We can present a full contract for vote. I think it'd be easier that way.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Anderson, are you clear on the direction that we're looking for?
Crystal.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to table?
A motion, we table approval of the 2021 NEUW compliance services agreement in lieu of getting more information on the deliverables in the contract language.
Support.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew,
Yes.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Moraro,
Yes.
Mr. Oja.
Yes.
Anyone wishing to address the council on any item will be unmuted and given an opportunity to make their comments. For participants on Zoom, you can use the raise your hand feature and the host will initiate the unmute. For telephone participants, hit 9 to initiate a request to speak. State your name and address for the records. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have anybody, Mr. Anderson?
Nobody's raising their hand, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to mayor and council comments. Scott?
Yes, I would like to express my condolences to Marge and the rest of the Lee Minigini family. I was able to serve with Lee for the last 4 years, and he's taught me a lot. He's really given me the path and the footsteps to take. You know, a great guy. You know, I saw him around town. He was super involved with everything around the community. He was really involved with the school. You know, you're not going to find a bigger Norway Knight fan than Lee and Marge. It's just the same. You know, I hope people out there take this COVID serious. It's not a joke. Many people have lost their lives. You know, everyone can have their own opinion on it. Just don't laugh at other people's opinions. Take it to yourself because people, friends, family are losing their friends and family over this disease, and it's serious. That's all I got.
Brett?
I'd just like to repeat a little bit of what Scott said, my thoughts and prayers out to the McGinney family. It's definitely a big loss to the community all around. That's all I have.
Jeff?
Again, echoing the same sentiment. Lee Minigini, I was lucky enough to spend a year with him on council before he stepped down. A wonderful guy, kindred spirit, I believe, and my thoughts and prayers also go to the Marge and the Minigini family. And I hope the best for him.
Jeremy?
I'd like to express my condolences also to Lee's family.
I know I already said at the beginning, but just want to say that it was a pleasure to serve with him the last few years. He was a great mentor. He always gave 100%. He was really involved in this community and he really cared about it. And like Scott said, he wasn't only involved in the council, he was involved in many other things in our community. And he was involved with the school. And he will be missed dearly. Mr. Anderson?
Echo all of that. I spent a lot of time with Lee over the 11 years. Him coming on, and before that, he was getting involved in the planning commission, getting his feet back into the government, the politics and the government. I know he spent 4 years in the 80s on the council. Didn't have the greatest experience at that point, and we talked about it many times. He went to Washington D.C. with me twice when we went out for the MUW and with the electric, and he just was a very passionate man. Definitely condolences to the family. Miss him dearly.
Grant?
Nothing that hasn't already been said. As Lee would ask and request, I'll keep it to point 2 and limit my comments accordingly. He will be
Mary? Trish?
No, I have nothing, Candy, other than what's been said.
Okay. Trish?
No, same as Mary.
Okay. All right, we'll be going into closed session. Update on pending litigation, employment agreement negotiations. We will not be coming back on other than to adjourn the meeting. We will not take any action after our closed session. Do I have a motion to move into full session?
Motion, we move into closed session.
Support.
Mr. Kramer,
Yes.
Mr. Marrero,
Yes.
Mr. Oja,
Yes.
Mr. Pop,
Yes.
Mrs. Brew.
Yes.